funny enough, there's a couple of times where a lot of it, when you start traveling to these shows every single week, the arenas tend to start blending together. And a couple of times right before we're going out, I'm like, where are we? Oh my God, where are we? And then they have to tell me where we are.
I should start with some congratulations. First, congrats on your Joe Biden rap, making it on MSNBC the other day. That was amazing.
Thank you. The Acclaimed take pride of when we have little moments, whether it be in the rap, whether it be in the match, that go mainstream, that go viral, no matter what it is. And that one was a pretty good one.
That was pretty great. It proves everybody loves the Acclaimed.
Oh, of course.
Also, second, congrats on your Acclaimed micro brawler action figures coming out soon. That's awesome.
I'm very excited about those too. We're still hoping that sometime soon we can get into the full action figure line and start diving into other pieces of merchandise, because everybody's been clamoring to get their hands on so many different items that involve the Acclaimed, and we're fighting every week to get these things done. So hopefully sooner than later. But we won the first war, so we have the micro brawlers, which are up for pre-order now for the next 2 weeks. And they're the number one selling piece of merchandise on shopaew.com. So wake up, people. The Acclaimed are money.
And last thing I want to congratulate you on is the Acclaim getting your first pay-per-view World Tag Team title shot at All Out. Long deserved.
Thank you. And that one I'm the most excited about. This is our first appearance on a pay-per-view, Max and I as a tag team. Max has appeared on two. He appeared on one in the ladder match at Revolution, and then we were together or separate in a casino battle royal, but we weren't in the ring together. So this is our first tag match. It's a huge one for the AEW tag team titles against Swerve and Our Glory, and I think we're going to bring them home.
Awesome. So I want to ask you a little bit about how you got started in wrestling. Were you a fan growing up?
I was a huge fan. The first thing I saw was these commercials for Starrcade 97, where Sting was facing Hulk Hogan. Huge match. I remember being a kid and seeing the commercial come on. It was Sting in a warehouse and it was raining. And I was like, who is this weird guy with face paint? It's so mysterious. And then that just hooked me. And ever since then, in 97, I've been a fan. And I played baseball all my life. And then after I stopped playing baseball in college, I transitioned over into professional wrestling, thanks to Mr. Santino Marella. And almost 10 years later, we're at the biggest show of the year in Chicago. So it's been an exciting journey.
That's amazing. And so you met Santino, not his sister Santina. I just want to clarify that.
No, I went to, it was back in 2012. There was a show in the area, and a bunch of the guys were at the gym that I go to. And the last person at the gym that I was going to take a picture with was Santino. I wasn't going to bother him because he was in the middle of a set. But my friend said, "Screw it, you'll never see him again. Just take a picture." So I took a pic. I started walking away, and he said, "Hey, you're pretty big. You kind of look like a professional wrestler. Have you ever thought about becoming one?" And at the time, I was searching for wrestling schools because I wanted to get into the business. And he pulled out his phone and gave me the number to Pat Buck, who owns WrestlePro and Creative Pro Wrestling Academy, New Jersey, New York, and also a current AEW producer here, which is really cool. I called Pat the next week, and the rest is history.
Awesome. And I think you and Max both signed at AEW in November 2020, if I have that right. How did the Acclaim come about? How did the tag team form?
So Max and I were singles stars on the independents. So when we were getting our opportunity here, we were pretty confident that we were going to come in as singles guys. At the time, I was fielding an offer from the other company. I believe Tony Khan found out about that and flew me down to Jacksonville. I hadn't got anything in my hand yet, so I was like, screw it. Let me hear what Tony has to say. We got down there, and the day of, I was in the elevator, and there was standing Max Caster, who I couldn't call him a friend. I only saw him in passing through maybe like training, because he's in Creative Pro New York. I was in Creative Pro New Jersey. So we only knew of each other from that. And I think we were in like a 6-man tag once a few years ago. And I'm like, "Hey, what are you doing here? What's going on?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm here to talk to Tony." And I'm like, "Wow, I'm here to talk to Tony too." And then a few minutes later, we find out that we were there to talk to Tony together. Tony brought us in, and he basically said he had this idea for us to be a tag team called the Acclaimed. And we both loved the idea. We didn't know what it was. We didn't know what the persona was. We just knew that Tony believed in us, and that was enough to really get us going. We went out, we wrestled a match against Best Friends, maybe about an hour and a half later. And then when we got back through the curtain, I saw Tony give the thumbs up, and the next day we had contracts.
That's amazing. And, you guys were heels for a while, but now everybody loves the Acclaimed. Honestly, for me, you guys put on a show the second your music hits. Like, you guys have the best entrance going with the rap and the whole spiel. So does Max write the raps, or is it a team effort? How does that all work?
So Max is the creative for the rap. I have no idea about any of these things. But my job is to present him with current events that have happened over the week. He checks himself, but I'll be like, hey, maybe you can hit this, this, and this. He'll go off for hours, don't know where he is, and then he'll come back and goes, I got it. And then we'll run through it, make sure it's okay, and then we go out there and we just do it.
But you also have the really important job, because you got to get the name of the city right, which the Gun Club never does.
Funny enough, there's a couple of times where a lot of it, when you start traveling to these shows every single week, the arenas tend to start blending together. And a couple of times right before we're going out, I'm like, where are we? Oh my God, where are we? And then they have to tell me where we are. And
oh my God,
I haven't gotten it wrong yet.
So now, the best joke in AEW, the best joke in wrestling is scissor me. How did this come about? It's so over.
I think the cool thing about the Acclaimed is that both Max and I have given so many different pieces to it. It's such a collaborative effort. To the growth of the team is such a collaborative effort. I came up with Everyone Loves the Acclaimed and the hand gesture, and the Acclaimed have arrived, and he came up with, the yo listen and the scissor. So basically I was doing the hand gesture during the pandemic time, and Caster came up from behind and he scissored me. There's a very genuine reaction somewhere on YouTube where I'm kind of like, oh my God, I can't believe he just did that. And at the time, I guess I took a lot safer of an approach with things back then, because I didn't want to get fired. We were new. I was taking less risks. Meanwhile, Caster, he was, pedal to the metal. He was willing to do anything. And I was like, oh my God, we're going to get fired. He did a couple more times, and then they asked us to stop doing it. And then he did a different gesture. They said, can you not do any of those things? And then eventually I forgot what match it was, but I was laying on the floor and I happened to look up, and the entire front row had their scissors out or the fingers out to scissor me. And I was like, we're on to something here. So we kind of just, went for it and just kept doing it. No one said anything to us. And then all of a sudden it just exploded. We started looking to the crowd, and people have custom scissors they were making, and they're scissoring each other there, and meet and greets for hours. Everything. The only thing that people want to do is scissor. It's insane. Like regular scissor, double scissor, chain scissor, triple scissor, like all kinds of scissors. So it's a new craze in wrestling. We're trying to figure out ways to help it go beyond the realm of professional wrestling and make it like a mainstream handshake or hand symbol. So we've got some work ahead of us, but I think we're on the right path.
Oh my God, I think it's going to happen. I mean, there was that time when everybody was doing the Wolfpack sign and everybody was doing all those things when the NWO was around. This thing is going to take off. It's already on its way. So for a while this year, I think you were hurt, and the Acclaimed and the Gun Club were stable. I'm trying really hard not to say ass boys. But
you could say.
So how did that whole thing come about? The whole thing with the ass boys.
So a few months ago, or going into 2021, Max and I were trying to figure out something that could really bring us to the next level. And we had to work with people who were, I guess, had similar goals. And he had noticed that, we had pretty good chemistry with the Gun Club as far as just our interactions around the arena. And they're super funny people. And we thought they would be good people to work with. And eventually, one day I was just sitting on the beach and I was pretty relaxed, and I was like, I was hurt, and I was trying to figure out a way to put that on camera because I was injured, but I was able to walk. And people were wondering why I wasn't wrestling for months. So we needed a reason to show people that I was hurt. So I came up with the wheelchair thing, and I brought it to the guys. They loved it. We pitched it. Tony loved it, and we just went for it. And it's one of those things where we caught lightning in a bottle because all four of us are so entertaining. I mean, I hate them now considering what they did to us. But at the time, it was a great pairing, and it just exploded. The relationship between myself and Billy Gunn, Daddy Ass, people really started to latch onto, which was something that we didn't expect. It just took on a life of its own. And that's kind of the beauty of working here, is that we're able to pivot and create stuff each and every week that's unique to us as opposed to having it given to us, you know?
Yeah, and that story, it makes so much sense, a weird amount of sense, that Billy Gunn liked the Acclaimed more than his own sons.
I mean, the Gun Club or the Ass Boys are not very likable, so I understand why he switched over.
Now, I want to ask you about your dumpster match with the Gun Club. Billy was in the first dumpster match back on Raw in '98, and so did you guys consult him on how this thing is done? I'm sure he was a resource.
Billy was a resource, but he was pretty adamant that this was our match. This was our time to create, I guess, our story. And at least for the Acclaimed, we wanted to we like to pay tribute to stuff of the past. That's why I came out in the Billy Gunn gear. He had the New Age Outlaws gear together. And it was really exciting. It was one of the most fun matches, or painful matches as well, that I've ever been in. And then we've got to create a modern day moment of pushing the dumpster off the stage, which was very, very cool. And I think a cool little video clip that'll last forever in AEW history.
Yeah, I think that was the match that really put the Acclaimed on another level. That was one of the most memorable matches of the year, I think. So now almost 2 full years together as the Acclaimed, you and Max have your World Tag Team title shot on pay-per-view. So what gives you guys the edge over Keith Lee and Strickland?
I think what gives us the edge is that we're now an actual tag team. You know, we were singles guys, but we figured that out. Swerve and Keith, they're both singles guys, and we saw in the past that they've had a little bit of weird communication issues. So I don't know if that's going to come into play. There's a lot going on in their head because they know that we're gunning for them. So as confident as those two gentlemen may be, I think they should be scared because we have a lot of momentum going right now. Not only are we both confident, we have an entire movement behind this, entire scissor movement, if you say, if you would say so. So everyone loves the Acclaimed. Everyone is going to be rooting for us Sunday at All Out, and I'm really excited to get out there and bring home some gold.
Oh, I can't wait to see it. So let me ask you, the Acclaimed walks out of AEW, of All Out as AEW World Tag Team Champions. How do you celebrate?
Well, obviously we got to scissor everybody that we can. And then I think Max and I would both agree that we would go right to Chipotle and have a really good meal. Some people go to Disney World. The Acclaimed would go to Chipotle.
You heard it here first. So lastly, we are Screen Rant. We write all about TV, movies, video games, pop culture. What are you binging right now? What are you into?
Ooh, so it's hard because usually when I come home from the road, I'm with my boyfriend and we are trying to find things to parody for our YouTube channel, which means a lot of different reality shows. We're watching The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. What was the other show? We just got into a show called Yellow Jackets.
Oh yeah, it's a great show.
Anytime I get asked this, I always blank because there's so many different things that we look at. We just finished the new 90 Day Fiance because a lot of our parodies circle around the couples that we play. So a lot of those kinds of shows. And as far as video games, MLB The Show, I play a little Fortnite with my friends. My favorite video game franchise is Grand Theft Auto and The Last of Us, which I believe they're turning into a movie or a TV show on HBO Max, which is super exciting. And hopefully one day I could be on because I'd probably cry. So a lot of those games.
Oh,
I love Last of Us. I think it's a
That's
beautiful, beautiful story.
yeah, totally, totally. Well, listen, man, thank you so much for speaking to me today. I cannot wait to see you challenge for the tag team titles at All Out, and best of luck. This has been great.
Thank you so much for having me. Here, have a scissor.
I gotta ask for this. I do this, but